This trip back for Danny Lynn is kind of special because she doesn't really know a whole lot about the place where she was born.
I'll never forget. He walked up in the trailer and his mouth just dropped.
After years of silence, Anna Nicole Smith's daughter is finally speaking out. What she just revealed about her secret life away from the cameras will leave you stunned. Rumors say the truth is far different from what we thought. Stay tuned for all the shocking details, and don't forget to subscribe. For years, the world wondered about Anna Nicole Smith's daughter. Born into chaos, then hidden away from flashing cameras, Danny Lynn Burkhead became more of a mystery than a media figure. Paparazzi tried to catch glimpses, tabloids speculated, but she stayed silent. Now, whispers say that silence is breaking. At 18, Danny Lynn is finally sharing her journey, one that's far different from the headlines the world once obsessed over. It's not a story of fame or fortune. It's a story of resilience, private dreams, and a life shaped quietly in the background.
You go up and down the street and you drink beer and you talk to people. And
She's stepping into her own spotlight, not as an extension of Anna Nicole, but as a young woman determined to define herself. And what she's revealing is catching everyone by surprise, because the truth isn't what the world expected, not even close. Stay tuned, because once you hear what she's been hiding, you'll see why her story is just beginning. Danny Lynn's journey began at a time when her family's world was anything but steady. The moment she was born, a battle for her future erupted. There were questions about her paternity, custody fights, and endless legal drama. She didn't even get a moment to simply be a baby before the headlines started printing her name. Despite being an infant, Danny Lynn was at the center of courtrooms, DNA tests, and intense public interest. Strangers debated her life before she could even say her first words. Cameras followed, rumors spread, and her early years were shaped by decisions she had no part in.
I feel overweight.
The chaos wasn't just in the news, it was behind closed doors too. Family members fought for custody, and lawyers argued about her inheritance. The legacy she inherited was more complicated than anyone could have prepared her for. And yet, despite the whirlwind she was born into, Danny Lynn's story wasn't one of surrender. It was the beginning of something much stronger, a journey toward peace, built one careful step at a time. After the storm settled, it was Larry Burkhead, her father, who stood unwavering at her side. Determined to protect his daughter from the chaos, he fought tirelessly to secure her future, battling in courtrooms and shielding her from media glare. It wasn't about money or fame for Larry. It was about giving Danny Lynn a chance at a normal life, one free from the confusion and contention that followed Anna Nicole's name.
Made me cry this morning.
Sorry.
Really. No, it's just everything. It's my everything.
He turned down major media deals, offers that could have made them rich overnight, all to keep Danny Lynn out of the tabloid cycle. Instead of the red carpet, her childhood was filled with school plays, Halloween costumes, and quiet adventures far from flashing cameras. The choices made during those early years, who would raise her, how she would be protected, what pieces of her past would be shared, still shape her world today. Every decision Larry made was about building a safe foundation for his daughter. And now, as Danny Lynn steps into adulthood, we're starting to see how much that fight was worth. Growing up with the world watching wasn't easy. Danny Lynn lived a life where her name was famous, but her face remained largely unseen. Larry made sure of it. While the world speculated, Danny Lynn was busy having a real childhood, one filled with birthday parties, amusement parks, and roller coaster rides with no hands.
As of right now, I guess I'm taking it day by day to see how this is going to go, because it's kind of
Larry crafted a life where normal was the goal. They attended concerts together, celebrated traditions like Halloween with elaborate costumes, and traveled to places where nobody recognized them. Still, the shadows of her mother's fame were never completely gone. Every so often, Danny Lynn would attend charity events or memorials honoring Anna Nicole, stepping briefly into a world she barely knew but deeply respected. It was a careful balancing act, honoring where she came from without letting it define who she would become. Through it all, Danny Lynn stayed true to herself, navigating the complex world she inherited with grace beyond her years. Now at 18, she's ready to share the side of her story few have ever seen.
come out screaming and the people's princess Danny Lynn is here, because it was such a big deal about her birth.
Far from the bright lights of Hollywood, Danny Lynn is building a future entirely on her own terms. She's not chasing fame. She's chasing purpose. Recently turning 18, Danny Lynn celebrated her milestone birthday in a style completely her own, a Beetlejuice-themed party, complete with gothic makeup, spiderweb dresses, and playful peace signs. It was a glimpse into her creative spirit, her individuality shining through. But her ambitions don't stop at style. Danny Lynn is determined to make her mark academically too. She's pursuing a double major in forensic science and Japanese studies, blending her fascination with mysteries and her passion for culture. There's also quiet talk of her launching her own cosmetics and fashion line in the future, ventures that would let her blend creativity with independence, carrying forward her mother's flair, but writing her own story. She's not trying to recreate Anna Nicole's legacy. She's building something entirely new, something fully hers.
Interested in it, to be honest. I mean, she did one thing, and it was back to school after that. But
Through it all, one thing has never changed: the bond between Danny Lynn and Larry Burkhead. From her first steps to her first roller coaster rides, Larry's been her steady guide. He's more than a parent. He's her biggest supporter, her shield from the storms, and often the subject of her playful jokes. Danny Lynn often trolls her dad online, posting funny, unflattering pictures that remind everyone their relationship is built on humor and deep trust. It's clear, they don't just survive together, they thrive. Larry's guiding principles for raising her were simple: kindness over popularity, humility over headlines. He didn't just teach her about life, he showed her how to live it without being consumed by the past.
It worked.
you're always pointing out my flaws. That's why I love you so.
Every photo of their adventures, every inside joke, every public appearance carries that same message: family first, always. And as Danny Lynn grows older, that bond remains one of her greatest strengths. A quiet reminder that fame fades, but love and loyalty endure. Larry never tried to erase Anna Nicole's memory. Instead, he made sure Danny Lynn grew up knowing the real woman behind the glamorous image. Away from tabloid covers, Anna Nicole was a loving mother, a woman who dreamed of simple joys for her daughter. That's the version Danny Lynn carries with her, the real story, not the rumors. They honor her legacy quietly, with memories, with conversations, with keeping her spirit alive without the drama the world once fed on. Danny Lynn knows the bright and the painful parts of her mother's journey, but she refuses to let that legacy limit her. Instead, she embraces the strength Anna showed.
You can take Danny Lynn home to Kentucky or wherever.
The resilience she lived by. For Danny Lynn, her mother's story isn't a shadow, it's a foundation, one that gave her the courage to step forward, to dream bigger, and to live a life fueled by love, not by headlines. It's a legacy carried with pride and with a fierce determination to make it her own. As Danny Lynn looks to the future, it's clear she's writing a story very different from the one the media tried to script for her. She's focused on her education, building a career where she can solve mysteries, help others, and create a future based on passion, not pressure. And yet, there's quiet buzz about her creativity finding a public outlet. A cosmetics line? A clothing brand? Maybe. Danny Lynn's next chapter won't be defined by anyone else. She's spent years learning how to navigate a complicated legacy. Now she's using that strength to forge her own path, far from the drama that once surrounded her. Will she someday step back into the public eye? Only if it fits the story she's writing. Because for the first time, this story belongs fully to her. Danny Lynn Burkhead's story challenges everything we thought we knew about fame, legacy, and resilience. Born into a whirlwind she never asked for, she's found a way to rise above the noise, to live a life rooted in kindness, creativity, and quiet strength. Her journey reminds us that sometimes the most remarkable stories are the ones lived quietly, away from flashing cameras and shouted headlines. And maybe that's the real lesson here. You don't have to inherit chaos. You can choose peace. You can choose your own story. What do you think about Danny Lynn's journey? Should she continue building her life away from the spotlight? Or is it time for her to step into a world ready to hear her side? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. And if you want more inspiring untold stories, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment. Because sometimes the real stories are the ones the world almost missed.